Hi guys, I'm Corey Davis from Corbin Turning, and today I want to talk to you about one of my pet peeves, and that is bad tips I hear from trainers. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad tip, but it's a tip that oftentimes I think that trainers don't understand what the real purpose behind it, and I know that most trainees don't understand. So today the one I want to talk about is saying chest up on the squat. And I think when people say chest up on the squat, what they mean is they don't want their clients to get bent over. And you've all seen somebody squatting, and as they're squatting, they go down and then they get bent over real bad and they get out of position. They get into a position where it's a lot of stress on their back. They're trying to good morning that weight up, and that's bad. You want to avoid that. So I get why people think, oh, chest up is a great cue, but I actually think that it is a terrible cue. And I think it's a terrible cue for two reasons. One, at the beginning of the lift, most of the times when people say chest up, they go from an okay position where their spine is straight and they're in a solid position to lift from, to a much worse position where they kind of open everything up and they kind of stick their butt out too far and they have an arch in their low back, and they get their chest too high up. So that's a bad position to lift from. So that's not what we want to do. We don't want to say chest up at the start. Two, when someone is getting bent over in the squat, telling them, hey, chest up, it's really too late to fix it at that point. If someone is getting bent over in a squat and then they try to get their chest up, and you can see in a bunch of examples, when someone gets bent over in a squat and you yell to them chest up, all that's going to let them do is try to flex from their T-spine and get into a much weaker mobility position. If someone is bent over because that weight is weighing them down, there's no way that they're going to be strong enough to sit back, get into a good position again, and then stand up. What's going to happen is they're going to bend from that T-spine and get into a much worse position. So, am I just here to complain about other people and not offer an explanation? Of course not. So instead of saying chest up, what I would have you do is coach your athletes to get into a much tighter brace position from the beginning. So that first thing I would have them do is, instead of starting here, chest up like Superman, teach the athlete to draw that rib cage down and actually get into a tighter position. So yeah, I'm not getting bent over, but it's not that arched, poor position. It's rib cage down is the first move. So now I'm in a much more tight, locked in position. Next, you want to inflate and brace your core. And if you keep your core really tight, you shouldn't get bent over in the first place most of the time. So now that my rib cage is drawn down, I'm in a tighter position here. I want to inflate, big deep breath, inflating through my abs and obliques and low back. It's kind of filling that all in 360 degrees. So rib cage down, then inflate the obliques, inflate the whole core. Then grab that bar and draw those elbows down so your lats get tight. So now you've gotten into a better spinal position by drawing your rib cage down. You've braced a lot better because you're inflating your whole core. And then you're getting your lats involved, the biggest muscle in your back, drawing that down, getting that super tight. So suddenly you've created a situation where you're not going to get bent over in the first place. So rather than getting people into a worse position at the start, or asking them to arch their spine in the middle of a bad lift, which is what I think chest up accomplishes most of the time, we're getting into a much better position from the very beginning. I hope that helps, and I hope the next time you hear someone yell chest up, you know what they're really trying to say is don't get bent over, but a little bit too late for it at that point. Hope that helps. See you guys later.